is it the connected TV? Is it just like teenagers on laptops? Is that the paradigm? The stars are coming to alignment, but at the end of the day, that's what free content is. Is there going to be this huge demarcation between the free and the pay world? How do you marry those? And I know Ian, the Woomy service, attempts that, but how do you see it for you?
Well, I mean, I think in the end, it's up to us whether or not it is going to die, just to kind of round that off, because we are the enablers, and the innovators that are going to keep it going. In the end, you're delivering, there's two players either side, there's the consumers and the content owners. And our job is to ensure that that system, which will never die, keeps up and running. And it's all about the ecosystem that funds it. And I think that the difference, the demarcation that we're talking about between pay and advertising, should shift as much as possible over to advertising. Because people in the end, it's like Freeview. Freeview opened up multi-channel because it was capable of doing that, and that worried the pay TV providers a hell of a lot. The other thing is, as more and more aggregating apps come together, like our two apps, people are going to get confused about multiple payments, content coming in one source free with ads, and in the other source from a pay provider, and you know who's going to win. What we need to ensure is that it's not just about everybody has to gain from it. And the ecosystem's so complicated that there's a lot of players.
Just tell me, when you say we, who's the we?
We is everybody that's involved in this, between the content owners and the consumer. So you're going to have, there's this black box that we need to keep inside the black box because it's too confusing for the consumer. And if we go to the broadcasters and try and change the ecosystem too much, it's too confusing for them. So the we within that box is very complicated. It's Pandora's box. You've got an ad ecosystem, and that is the most complex map you could ever look at. Ad serving, DSPs, ad sales, media buyers, targeting, all this stuff. And that's all grown up to connect content to the consumers and fund it. So when I say we, I mean everybody involved, and that also includes DRM, pay TV, everybody that's around.
I was going to say, you're going to be given an ecosystem.
Also with Chris, I agree that that there's been people have discovered the joy of TV delivered over the internet. And I agree with everything you just said, but I mean, I think the key is the ad-funded versus other sources of income. At the end of the day, I go back to what I said originally. How is this all going to get paid for, and how's it going to work? And I'm not every man, but I talk to my friends, colleagues, my daughter, and her friends, and people have an expectation that TV delivered over the internet is free, and the stuff that's worth paying for isn't available.
CDNs.
I think the interesting bit here is that the industry, the we, have to preserve the value chain of TV in order to make sure that quality content continues to get made. And this will happen. Any disruptive technology that tries to undermine the value chain between the content creators and the consumers who eventually pay for it, whether it be transactional or advertising based, will not be adopted by the industry and therefore will not work. We've seen this sort of thing. So we're working with the industry to preserve the value chain. The next question is the end game going to be free, ad funded, or transactional funded, subscription based? And I think there's room for both. And I think what we've done in Woomy is create a marketplace where these different business models can be tried out. We allow publishing partners of ours to be 100% ad funded or 100% subscription. And we're finding that a mix is often good as well, that some ad funded content will get you eyeballs that then you can upsell to a subscription. So I think that the industry will continue to be a mix. I think take adult content, for example, is likely to be subscription-based rather than ad-based. So there's always going to be some sections of content, be they niche, specialist, or whatever, where micropayments will happen. Yeah. And this is why we move away from this, $40 a month big pay TV subscription, are you in, are you out model, to more of a micropayments, micro-subscriptions model, plus ad-funded, and the whole thing reaches an equilibrium.
What I would love to see is a Spotify model coming about. And I think we have an app called Square Eyes, it's very similar to Woomy, and I personally believe we've nailed it. The two of us have nailed it. Our apps are going to hopefully become the leaders, because in the end they allow a consumer to build their own channels rather than get it thrown at them what they should be watching.